What has been your most spine-tingling, bone-chilling, I have a bad feeling about this experience? What happened? When I was around 12, I lived in downtown Toronto. One night, I was walking home late from the streetcar stop after swim practice. Both my brothers had hockey games in different parts of the city, so I was on my own. The street was mostly quiet and dimly lit, but it was the fastest way home. As I walked, I noticed two guys behind me. They were matching my pace, and I could hear them whispering about my clothes. I was already pretty paranoid, so I crossed to the other side of the street, which was even less lit, just to check if they were really following me. They were. My heart sank deep into my stomach. At the time, there was a serial rapist running loose in the neighborhood. The victims were mostly women of Eastern European descent, like me. Several had been missing lately. That fact alone made my skin crawl. My head screamed at me to run, and so I did. I sprinted without looking, dodging the cracked sidewalks and shadows. I was only 2 blocks from home, but these were grown men chasing a 12-year-old girl. My lungs burned and tears threatened to spill, but I kept running. When I reached the corner where I had to turn onto my street, I felt a hand brush against my shoulder, then another by my hair. Before I could scream, one of the men grabbed me, trying to pull me back. Suddenly, a homeless man, who usually camped near the library, tackled the guy who grabbed me. He pinned him down and started punching the other man. I stood frozen, scared and confused, tears streaming down my face. Then the homeless man yelled, "Run, kid! Don't stop running!" That shout shook me back to reality. I bolted home, heart pounding, and triple-checked every door and window. I kept the lights off and stayed in the shadows until my parents came home. We called the police, but it felt pointless. The cops in my neighborhood were either corrupt or completely incompetent. The serial rapist was never caught, and some people suspected the police were involved in the kidnappings and trafficking of women like me. No one did anything. A few days later, my parents and I found the homeless man. We offered him food and some supplies to thank him. When we talked, we learned he had been discharged from the Canadian Armed Forces and was struggling to adjust to civilian life. I saw him around for a month or so after that, said hi, gave him a juice box or spare change if I had any. Later, my parents tracked down his family in another city and contacted them. They came and took him in. They still keep in touch. If it wasn't for that man, I would have been hurt that night, maybe worse. I'm so grateful he was there. After that, I wasn't allowed out alone past 6 p.m. Someone from the swim team always gave me a ride, whether a relative, a friend's parent, or a family friend. The neighborhood was rough. There were gangs, organized crime, and a high crime rate that seemed invisible to the police. Women kept disappearing, and the cops only acknowledged they were missing. Investigations rarely happened. Reporting police misconduct was nearly impossible, and those who tried often faced harassment. It was a scary place to grow up, with dangers that went beyond what most people saw or talked about. But that night, the homeless man's intervention changed everything for me.